So it's 5 o'clock, and just hopped out of bed about 15 minutes ago. My alarm started going off at 3, but I was kind of in and out of sleep all night because my back and my knee, it was just tossing and turning. So awake now, gotta get some gas, and I'm gonna go make some money. So it was a pretty good weekend. I got some work done, which is always difficult to do, and hopefully this is actually the last weekend that I had to do that. But yeah, got some work done. Took the baby to the Renaissance Fair. That was a lot of fun, and only complaint is pushing a stroller around a Renaissance Fair really screwed up my knee and my back, and spent most of yesterday trying to, along with getting work done and figuring out the podcast situation. I also ended up trying to nurse my knee and my back to health, and it still hurts, but not nearly as bad as it did. So hopefully we can make some good money, even though we're out of the house a little bit later than normal, and see what happens. Talk to you soon. Well, it was bound to happen eventually. Welcome to Washington, D.C. So it's 10 o'clock, and I'm heading back towards my house. So DC is amazing, by the way. They pay really, really well. I had my I hit my financial goal for the day, plus some, by like 8:45. So that's pretty awesome. So that's the good news. The bad news is that with me having to drop my kid off at 7 o'clock, childcare starting tomorrow, it's going to be kind of impossible to get down to DC in time to really take advantage of all the surge pricing and all that. So Tuesdays I'll be hitting up DC, and that'll be good, and maybe I'll stick around there a little bit longer, and make a good amount of money, and the rest of the time I'll be doing my normal, stuff around Baltimore and Annapolis. So, gonna head home. I might have to move a bed today, but other than that, the goal is to continue figuring out the issues that I'm having with the podcast recording. I got an interview scheduled for Thursday, so I really need to get this figured out. I think I'm on the verge of having it figured out, but also have to edit yesterday's video, but that shouldn't take too terribly long. The video editing that I'm doing now is pretty fast. So, yeah, that's it. Heading home. Talk to you soon. So the baby's asleep. Girlfriend and her dad went to the dump, then actually to my mom's house to pick up some stuff that they're giving us now that they're moving to Florida. And I'm about to sit down and edit this video from yesterday, but first I want to show you something. So I been talking about, maybe not to you guys, but been talking about how I need an office, a space with a door that closes and walls and all that stuff. So we have this shed out back, which I'm about to show you. And it was built out into a little apartment space. My girlfriend's brother was living out here for a while, but he's in Ohio now, so it's largely gone unused. It's super messy and it needs to be cleaned out, but I'm gonna show you real quick what is eventually going to be my office. So this is the shed. Like I said, it's kind of a mess, still needs to be cleaned out, but we're in the process of doing that, working on the inside first, because that's what needs to be functional. So here it is. Like I said, really dirty. Light doesn't work. Still got a bunch of stuff in here that needs to be cleared out. But this is gonna be my new office. So I'm really excited about that. It'll be nice to be able to actually close the door behind me and feel like I'm actually at work. Yeah, it'll give me a nice quiet space to do my podcasting. Speaking of which, still gotta finish figuring out my background noise issue. Real quick, guys, in the comments, if you do any podcasting or audio recording, I'll show you guys real quick what my setup is, and maybe you guys can give me some advice on reducing background noise. So going inside right now, back up to the house. So, alright guys, you ready to see my podcast setup? Here we go. Okay, so here's my podcast setup. I have my Yamaha MG6 OX, which I love. I just got it yesterday and absolutely fell in love with it. Right here, that's going to my microphone. This is going to my Chromebook, which is what I use to make my interview calls. And then this cord right here loops into my audio box USB, and my audio box USB is what I'm using as a digital interface, so I can get the sound into my computer, which I do through the use of a mono cord going from channel 1 in the audio box USB to my HP Envy X360. And then this cord right here, I actually put my phone in because I use a sound cart app to do the intro music for the podcast. And speaking of the microphone that I mentioned earlier, here's this. It's the Audio-Technica ATR 2100. Came highly recommended by many people in the industry, and I love it. I think it sounds great. And then of course my headphones. So I have a pretty professional setup. As you can see, my issue is background noise. Now, I do have an air vent like right to my right, so that's probably causing a lot of the problems. I'm actually going to go ahead and close that before I start working on anything, and hopefully that'll fix. But I know there's still going to be some, especially when I amplify my recordings. There's definitely some white noise back there. So I'm working on a couple different methods to reduce that white noise without really degrading the audio. But if you guys have any suggestions, if you have ever experienced this, please leave me a comment and let me know what you guys did. But for now, let's do some video editing. This is why I need an office and regular working hours. I was in the middle of editing yesterday's video, and once again, what happened? I don't know what's wrong. edited and it's on its way to YouTube, so it's good. Baby's still asleep, so we're gonna move on to messing around with the podcast. That is the only thing on the agenda between now and when I gotta go to bed. So 8 hours. I have 8 hours to figure out this problem. The podcast interview is on Thursday. I refuse to wait till the last minute to get it fixed. So here we go. I think she's awake again. Let's find out. Oh, are you done with nap part 2? So it's just before 5:30, and I haven't gotten anything done since the kid woke up from the nap. Girlfriend came back with all this stuff from my mom's house, so I let her, organize and clean some things that she wanted to get done around the house, and I held on to the baby while she did that. Now we did a swap, and she's playing with the baby while I get this audio figured out for the podcast. So 2.5 hours I'm giving myself to figure out, and I think I can do it. I've done more in less time, so let's see what happens. Wish me luck. Oh, by the way, see that? There's a storm coming. So you remember how I said I was giving myself till 8 o'clock to get the audio figured out on this podcast? It's midnight, but I figured it out. No background noise. Well, very little background noise. Anyway, it's time for me to get to bed. I gotta leave the house at about 7 to go drop the kid off at daycare for the very first time. It's gonna be an interesting experience, and then we're gonna go make some money. But for now, I gotta get to bed. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.